handoff. Adrian up the middle, room to the 20, cuts to the left to the 25, and Adrian's loose. He splits the defense. 50, 40, 30. Goodbye, baby. Touchdown!
We bleed purple and our bones are gold. Hear the horns coming out of our dome. Behold, we are Minnesota Vikings fans. We love when a player scores.
You are listening to the Purple People podcast for the week of July 29th, 2013. Vikings training camp has kicked off in Mankato, Minnesota for the 48th consecutive year, marking the glorious return of football for 2013 for the Minnesota Vikings. I am your host, Kyle West. Alongside me is Adam Carlson. Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for being here and listening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is episode number 61 of the Purple People podcast, and it is entitled, Ernest Goes to Camp, and So Does the Vikings.
I hope we don't have an Ernest on the team.
I thought that Ernest Owosu was still on the team, but for some reason I can't find him.
I don't even know who that is, Adam.
All right. With that, we will go right into our social media question, and Kyle West handles that.
I do handle things occasionally. This one comes from Gene Lavoie. Hey, he's been a guest on the show.
I remember that guy.
He's pretty cool. You should give him a look at Minnesota Vikings memes on Facebook. And Gene's got a good question this week. He wants to know that a lot of people, experts as you might call them, are predicting that Harrison Smith will lead the league in interceptions this year. Buy or sell that prediction, Adam?
I will go on record as selling that prediction. And not only will I sell that prediction, I will really, really sell that prediction. Now, I like Harrison Smith. I do. But we're talking about a team whose defense isn't set up for takeaways. This is a contained defense. Now, maybe with the corners doing more pressing and man-on-man bump stuff, maybe we'll see safeties getting more interceptions. Maybe we'll see some cornerbacks pulling down more balls, but overall, I don't see any player on the Vikings even coming close to challenging for that.
I'm going to buy part of that, and I'm going to sell another part of it. I think that Harrison Smith is poised to have a breakout season for the Minnesota Vikings. He's going to be a stud. He's a guy that fans should be absolutely excited for. I think he will lead the team in interceptions. Will he lead the league? No, but for the reasons that you stated. But I think he will be our team leader in interceptions for 2013.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, this week we're going to do something a little different, because we usually do something a little different every week, I think. But this week we're going to kind of just let the topics flow. I mean, we're here to talk about Vikings training camp, so why not just talk about what's on our mind?
Yeah, we're going to have a free-flow discussion just about everything that me and Adam have read and that you guys have probably heard that has been going on for the Vikings. We are, as of this recording, there have been, 2 days of practices, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's real early, and we're already getting some crazy reports.
We are.
Coming out of there, and I think this is a poignant first topic to go on, is how much you should read or not read into what happens at an NFL training camp.
Training camp is there for just that, training. It's there to try to get your timing down, try to get your routes down, try to develop chemistry with other players, get to know the playbook, all this other stuff. If this were scrimmages, if this were a preseason game, I'd be like, sure, okay, I'm going to put some weight into this. But training camp, I'm not buying it.
Well, it's so early in training camp, you should expect players to be a little rusty when they're out there on the field. And the reports that really drive me nuts right now is anytime that Ponder throws a pass that isn't 100% perfect, you've got people calling him out over Twitter saying that that's it. Cut him now. Start Matt Castle. He's thrown one bad pass. I don't want him on the team anymore. And I think we should, I know everyone is really excited because, hey, it's football. We want to talk about football. But we need
Definitely.
to temper expectations a little bit and understand that he's working with a whole new group of wide receivers.
Yep.
It's real early in the process. They've only had pads on one time. Everyone's going to be a little rusty. But this is why we're in training camp.
Definitely.
It's too
Everyone needs to just calm down.
Yeah.
Sit back, enjoy that the players are reporting.
Mhm.
That's one step closer to actually seeing them on the field in situations where it's somewhat important. Right now, they're just meshing. That's all.
Mhm.
That's all.
Now, did you hear about the day that Stephen Burton had for the Vikings today, Adam?
No, I don't. I actually don't even have that in my list of things to talk about.
Oh, well, he's a guy that I really considered him to be one of the bubble players coming into this season.
Definitely.
There's a lot of talent, actually, at that wide receiver position, and how it's going to shake out is going to be really interesting on that, if they keep 5 or 6, as to what happens down there. And Burton was, like I said, one of those bubble players. Today, he caught, I think, it ended up being a 70-yard touchdown pass from Matt Castle that threw it to him. And then he had just another, amazing where he went across the middle of the field and jumped up and hauled in another one. And
Very
then
nice.
there was, he ended up with, 2, it was another touchdown. They were doing, some red zone stuff where he was able to haul in another, back of the end zone play. He needs this in the worst way possible. If he is going to make this team, he needs to continue to have big plays like that for the Vikings.
It sounds like he wants it and is working hard to get it, and that's what you love to see from a player.
Mm-hmm. Because he's got to see the writing on the table that the depth chart is basically set. Well, maybe not the depth chart so much, but you know where the players are going to fall in line in front of him. I'm talking about guys like Patterson and Jennings and Simpson and Wright. You know they're going to make this roster. And he has to see that there's some other really talented people that the Vikings have out there on the roster. And there's even good competition from someone like Joe Webb right now. So if he's going to step up, now is the time to do it. And
Eric Highsmith, Adam Thielen.
I've heard good things about him, too. What was our other receiver that you were telling me about?
Rodney Smith.
Yeah, Rodney Smith. Yep.
Lots of young, talented guys. And I am 100% sure that 1 or 2 of these names will end up on the practice squad for the Vikings.
It's one of those spots where another team is probably going to raid a couple of those guys if they don't make the Vikings unit. I could see someone like the Patriots or the
Eagles just had a devastating injury.
The Eagles or the Ravens, for example, are going to be ones that are going to be raiding those younger receivers like what Minnesota has, that if they don't make it, they could end up in another place.
Now, the Vikings have been lucky. They haven't had a whole lot of serious injuries so far at camp. Even though it's early, we've seen players go down already for season-ending injuries. Right now, on the PUP list, the Vikings only have 2 names, Greg Childs and Nathan Williams. Now, what was interesting to me is that Michael Mauti was not on that list. That, to me, was surprising.
It was, but at the same time, I wasn't as shocked as what you are, because I had listened to him talk, and he had basically said leading up to this that he felt like he was ready to go.
So did Childs, though.
Well, yes, but the nature of Childs is considerably different than what Michael Mauti was dealing with. Frazier, I heard him talk in one of his press conferences. He said that they got the okay from the training staff, obviously, but they really wanted to see what Mauti can do on the field, and he's looking forward to seeing him out there now that he's going to be in full pads to see what he can do and what he can bring to this team.
Now, Mauti will be playing at middle linebacker.
Mhm.
And interestingly enough, in camp, the guy getting the starting reps at middle linebacker is Aaron Henderson.
hmm
Now, we are seeing Bishop getting the starting reps at outside linebacker where Henderson used to play. Contradictory to the reports that Bishop was taking Greenway's spot, which I think would be a big mistake.
No, that I don't know where you heard that report from, but that's just stupid. Uh, I'm not surprised. I thought all along that Bishop was brought in to probably ultimately end up with that starting position, but right now they want to give it to Henderson because it's early and it's training camp, and you sometimes throw different combinations of players out there like that, and they're going to give him his chance. He wants to. You listen to his interviews. Henderson wants this.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and that's good. It's good competition when you got someone who wants that spot, and you got another guy who can challenge him for it, and throw him out there, and may the best man win. Because ultimately, wherever these two end up, they're both going to be on the field for the Vikings, and the team is
Right.
going to be better because of it. So let's let him get out there and fight it out and figure this out. And by the time the regular season gets here,
Definitely.
yeah,
Another guy that we saw get a tag for no limitations was John Sullivan, but coaches said that he will be eased into action and let him gain confidence as he goes along. Now, that microfracture that he had last season was pretty serious,
hmm
and he's been taking a long, safe recovery on it. So this doesn't surprise me at all. As you guys have probably heard me talk about before, I am concerned with his injury, and I am kind of concerned with the depth there, but I am glad to see him getting that no limitations label, even if they are going to ease him into contact and game situations.
we have guys that I feel comfortable with that could step in. Like if he got banged up in the middle of a game, I would feel comfortable enough with our depth behind him to have someone else step in and fill in his position. If he was out for a substantial amount of time, I know we've discussed this before, that would be a big point of concern, and I think they would have to look outside of the organization to really bring someone in who could fill in for more of a long-term role. So I'm glad to see that they're being smart with him because, hey, he's a veteran, he's a leader on the team, he knows his
Pro
position.
Bowler.
Pro Bowler, yeah, he knows his position on the team. He doesn't, I don't want to say he doesn't need the camp, but he doesn't need the camp as much as what
Right.
as what some of the younger guys on the team are. So
And
yeah,
honestly, I'm glad to see that guys like Berger and Fusco are going to be getting some snaps at center in his absence, just in case.
hmm
Just in case.
And if push comes to shove, I know a former Vikings center who just retired. Do you think we could get Matt Burke out of retirement if we needed him?
I don't think so, no.
You don't think he'd want to come back?
Not
Maybe-
at all.
Maybe for one. I want to see him.
He's got his ring, he's done, man.
Yeah, but I want to see him just play one more game for Minnesota, Matt. Come on, you can do it.
The final piece of injury news for the Vikings that I've got is Latroy Guion had an elbow injury and left practice early.
Mhm.
Reports are that the injury is not serious. He's using a brace. He's going to be fine. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. It's way too early. You never want to talk about injuries, but you especially don't want to be talking about injuries after 2 days of camp and 1 day of padded practice. You never want to see people go down, but you really don't want to see them go down this early, in my opinion. Although, maybe you do, because then you can figure out later on, like, you've got a lot more time to figure out who's going to replace him. But, my fingers are crossed that no one on this team gets hurt, and that
Yeah, like I was saying, there have been some serious injuries around the NFL lately.
Yeah, there have been, and let's please stay out of them in Minnesota.
Now, let me talk about a good piece of news up at Mankato, because this is something that I was considering opening with, but it's something else that you discussed too in the opening to the show. Now, the Vikings announced an agreement to continue staging training camp at Minnesota State University Mankato
Mm-hmm.
through 2015.
Mm-hmm.
The arrangement will give the team a 50-year history in Mankato when it expires. So that's something pretty cool, is to
Very
keep that
cool.
tradition going.
And that
And
is,
you've been there.
I've
You
been
know what it's
there.
all about.
I will be up there on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So you can expect next week's podcast to be just filled with all kinds of reports from Mankato.
Now, next week's podcast is going to be very interesting because I will be coming to you live from the heart of the enemy. I will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, Adam, that hurts. That hurts that you would be in Wisconsin. I hope you wear as much Viking stuff as you
Oh, you know I
possibly
always
can.
do.
No, you better be more than normal. You better, I know you just got a haircut, but you better spike your hair and one half purple, one half gold, and just shave Brett Favre's face into the side of your hair or something.
Oh, I got my Vikings hat, my Vikings jacket,
Yeah.
my Vikings jersey, my Vikings shoes. Man, I'm good to go.
Yeah. Let's get back to Mankato for a minute. 50 years is what they're going to extend it to, and I have a feeling that this is going to be coming to an end after that extension because what the Vikings do is kind of a dying breed. You don't see a lot of teams anymore that go out to these different college campuses because, hey, it costs a lot of money to pack up all the equipment, all the coaches, all the players and everything. I have a feeling that after the new stadium gets done, I think if I remember right, there's going to be some kind of practice field on or near the new stadium, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start holding that actually in the Twin Cities.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it would cost the team a lot less money, and they make a lot more money on it than what they do, just in Mankato. But it would actually be a shame because it's so much fun going to Mankato. Not that it wouldn't be as fun going to the Twin Cities and stuff, but it's a lot bigger of a town and
Right.
whatnot. But it's a fun tradition.
Definitely. Coach Leslie Frazier has said that he is impressed with first-round wide receiver Cordero Patterson through the early days of training camp.
Mhm.
He said if you were to put together a receiver, he would look like Cordero. He has the vertical speed to get behind defensive backs. That won't be an issue.
Mhm.
They're going to have a dimension. That's going to give us a dimension that we didn't have a year ago. Now, that's true. Last year, we didn't have that guy. I'm sure listeners remember me going on multiple rants about the streak routes that they're running with Michael Jenkins, and it just
Mhm.
confused the heck out of me. This guy can streak. He's got speed. He can change direction. He is really excellent. Coach Frazier also says that Patterson is hungry and maturing, which is good to hear after the questions that were brought up about his character and on-the-field maturity that may have caused him to drop in the draft.
How much of that do you chalk up to coach speak? Kind of like Frazier saying just the politically correct thing that you just want him to say? And how much of it do you think is legit, like him talking about the player on the team and it is what it is? Like, how much of that do you think is coach speak?
Well, here's the thing. Coach Leslie Frazier has this way about him. Sure, he does coach speak just like everyone else.
Mhm.
Everything's in a little bit of a code. But in the same kind of way, Coach Leslie Frazier talked about what was going on with Greg Jennings and the comments that were going back and forth between the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Greg Jennings.
Mhm.
And he said that he was going to sit down and talk with them, and it's not the kind of thing he wants to see from his players. Now, stuff like that is really cool in my opinion because not only does it let you, the fan, in on what's going on behind the scenes, I love that, but it also shows you that he does have control even though he is that player's coach. And that's what I love to see.
I'm a big fan of Coach Frazier, and I hope that a decent contract extension is in his future, because that means one of two things. He's the correct choice for the Vikings at head coach, which I believe is true. And that would also mean that we have another really good season for the Vikings, which obviously we all want that to happen as well, too. Back to Patterson for a moment. What I expect you will see a lot of from Patterson this season, and this is just going on the early reports of what we're seeing from him. You'll see Ponder fake the ball to Adrian Peterson, while Patterson is just running right straight up the sidelines and blowing by defenders, and you'll see him throwing the ball deep to him along the side. I think that is going to be what you'll see from him in his first season in Minnesota, and then he will probably continue to grow and do more kind of finesse things as time progresses, but I think you'll really see him utilizing his speed on the outside and his ability to go up and jump and make some nice plays on passes as well, too.
I think we're going to see Patterson take a lot of the kind of passes that Percy Harvin got. Those manufactured touches that they might just be 2-3 yard passes, but it's enough to get him the ball in open space. I think that we're going to see a lot of that from Patterson.
See, I hope not. If I never see another bubble screen in Minnesota, I will be so happy because I hate Bill Musgrave. Bill Musgrave, I hope you're listening to this. I hate the bubble screen. If I had your phone number, I would call you and leave an angry voicemail for every bubble screen that you run. And so help me God, if you try to run those with Joe Webb, I'm gonna pull my hair out. I don't want to see bubble screens anymore in Minnesota.
You like bubble screens then, or?
No, I am not a fan of the bubble screen. You want to know why people are so hard on Ponder? It's because, and I know last year we had molasses Mike Jenkins and
an injured Jerome Simpson.
The list goes on. But can we throw a ball 20 yards down the field? Like, can we do that every now and then? Every pass doesn't have to be 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. See what you can do out of it. Like, maybe that's why Ponder's numbers haven't looked the best from time to time. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you totally. Yeah. He's got to work with what he's got for his offense and what's drawn up for him.
And that's why I'm really hoping that 84 can just get out there and just blow the lid off defenders and run right by him and get freaking... How did he get that open in the middle of the field or side of the field or whatever? And Ponder can just hit him for a big gain, and we need that so bad in Minnesota.
It sure would be nice to see. Vikings coach Leslie Frazier says that defensive tackle Kevin Williams will play about 30 to 40 snaps per game this year. Now, the Vikings can get away with scaling back Williams' usage after drafting the first-round pick of Sharif Floyd, who plays the same technique position. Now, Coach Frazier says, I'm sure he's more than capable of playing 50 to 60 snaps, but I think it'll be better for our football team if we get those snaps between 30 and 40. Now, Kevin Williams ranked 6th in the NFL in snaps among the 4-3 tackles last year, so he is accustomed to playing that many snaps, but he is getting up there in age. Mm-hmm. And dividing snaps between the rookie and the veteran can only make both players better. Fresh bodies on the field, a fresh rotation. This is good news, guys. Good news.
The defensive-minded Leslie Frazier knows what he's doing in terms of Kevin Williams. And Kevin is one of those players where, like you said, Adam, he knows that he can play a large amount of snaps for the Vikings if he had to, but he's also smart enough to understand that if I can get off the field from time to time, I'm going to get off because it's going to prolong my career. I'm going to be able to play longer, okay?
Definitely.
And we drafted Sharif to be a long-term answer, but I'm all for getting him on the field this rookie season too. Yes. And I think this is a good way to have both guys be fresh, and you can play to the strong suits of both players, and you can mix and match and get your best pieces on the field when needed by doing this. And Frazier, he like I said, he comes from that defensive-minded background, so he knows what he's doing with Sharif and Kevin Williams and the rest of the defensive unit.
Right.
hmm
That's all I have for my camp topics. I'm sure you've got some more things you want to talk about.
Speaking of defensive units, they ran a really interesting package today in camp that I took note of because it's one of those things where we might never see it again because it's just such a unique package that I wonder where they were going with it. They had Jared Allen on the field,
Yeah.
Sharif Floyd,
Right.
Christian Ballard,
Okay.
and Everson Griffin.
Interesting.
That is an interesting four to have on the field like that. Now, that's one of those things where maybe they're just throwing, like I said, it's training camp, you mix and match pieces and see what happens, but
Sure.
I wonder, like, I really want to know what the idea was behind that.
It sounds like it's some sort of pass rush situation.
I mean,
A 3rd and long kind of thing, because those are some good pass rushers there. I don't understand Ballard as much, but
well, in theory, and I'm speaking from, what I've seen from Christian in college, he, that should be his strong suit.
okay.
But we haven't really seen that manifest itself as the way we have liked in Minnesota, but it's nice to see that, someone still at least believes in him there in Minnesota.
It is. It's good to see. He's one of those guys, too, that we think is on the roster bubble, and it'll be nice to see if he can work things out.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else for us?
I'm trying to think, because I didn't really write anything down. I know that Gerhardt, from what I've seen, looks like that I don't want to use the term lost muscle mass a little bit, but he doesn't look as bulky up front as what he was last. Last year he had really big, huge arms on him. It looks like he's leaned himself down a little bit. I think that could be maybe potentially him trying to work on the bit of the fumbling problem that he had.
Maybe.
There from Minnesota is too much upper body can actually get in the way of a running back. So him showing up being a little bit leaner and trimmer, I think is a good thing for the Vikings. Another player that I've heard a decent amount of coverage over Twitter is Bradley Randall.
People are catching on.
People are catching on to Bradley Randall. I know they've used him in special teams. They had him return a couple, either punt or a kick.
I believe they were punts.
I think they were punts. And someone that I follow tweeted out that he did this amazing thing where he stopped in the middle of it and twisted and cut and just was using his speed to his advantage.
Oh yeah.
I like seeing that from Bradley. That I'm a big fan of his and want to see him do good for the Vikings for sure.
Oh, we're pulling for him.
Yeah. My last note is on our punter for the team.
Lock it up.
Lock it up. Now that we are into actual football, we can actually I can finally stop joking about not liking the guy. And we can actually okay, let's get to some actual football and let's talk about what he's doing and what he's bringing to the team. He kicks with his left foot.
He's a left-footed kicker.
He's a left-footed kicker, yeah, which puts a different spin on the ball.
Yes.
Today in training camp, all of our guys, none of them can catch his punts because of the spin that was on it. Every single one of them was dropping it. And that's including guys like Marcus Sherrills, who was our
he led the league in fair catches.
Yeah, and he filled in for Percy, when Percy got hurt. He was dropping them. Everyone was dropping them. And from what I've heard from fans that I've been talking to that have been up there, Locke has a monster leg on him.
Oh, yeah.
You combine that with that different spin that's on the ball, and, man, we're going to have to come up with, an an overall nickname for the combination of Locke and Walsh, because we're going to have one hell of a special teams unit here in Minnesota.
If you could take Locke's left leg and Walsh's right leg and put him on some other dude.
You'd have like a Mortal Kombat fatality, because how
think
did you
you
get
would.
their legs off, Adam?
I don't know. But it's just an idea. I'm throwing things out there.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to take a minute to talk positively about Locke, because like I said, I've been knocking the guy coming up to it because, hey, there was no football going on. We got to have something to talk about. But,
And if you saw some of the things I've been posting from the Walking Stick blog,
mhm.
he was talking about Jeff Locke's kickoffs and how his kickoffs are very impressive too, but the Vikings have Blair Walsh
Yeah.
to do that.
Isn't
But
that
it's nice to have it there just in case.
Yeah, isn't that an awesome thing to have? Like, hey, we got this guy who's really freaking good at kickoffs. We didn't even have to use him because we got another guy who's even better at kickoffs.
It's pretty crazy.
But maybe from time to time, we throw him out there because he's going to kick it with his opposite leg and it's going to put a different spin on the ball and it's going to it's going to confuse the other team. Like, you remember last year when I said that Mike Prefer is one of my favorite coaches on the team because
I really enjoy him.
he is highly intelligent and like you can see what he's doing with this unit and just like, man, that's like mad scientist stuff what he's got going on out there. I love it. We're lucky to have him. I think he'll be a head coach one day for another team.
Yeah, the Vikings are lucky to have him in the
Yeah.
position they are.
Yep.
Let's move on to birthdays because I love birthdays. It means cake. It means pizza sometimes. I'm a big guy. Big guys like
Yeah.
cake, I guess, right? That's what they say.
I'm allergic to dairy product, so yeah,
You can make cake without that.
Well, I can eat. I can't eat ice cream, is what I was getting at. But none of our listeners care, so let's continue on with birthdays.
Well, we had 2 birthdays on Wednesday. That was Tyler Holmes and Matt Asiata. Asiata's 26 and Holmes is 25. Our other birthday this week came to us from Brandon Fusco. I'm trying to say that. Fusco. Who turned 25. And now we can move into quick hits because this is always my favorite part.
Mhm.
I love quick hits.
We've kind of done actually a whole show of quick hits.
It feels like it.
Today. It was fun. I like it. It was a very even flow today.
Now the Vikings have signed their first 3 first-round draft picks. They each signed 4-year deals, which is pretty sweet. Now, a former Vikings first-round draft pick will open on IR on the PUP list in Seattle, and that is Percy Harvin.
Has that been confirmed yet?
He is getting a second opinion on Tuesday, which I'm guessing people will probably have heard
Mhm.
what's going on
Yeah,
about
by
it.
the time this show gets up, it'll probably be done.
But that second opinion will determine whether or not he needs surgery, and if he does need surgery, he will be out for the year.
You know what I keep waiting for, Adam?
Him to be like, haha, punked y'all.
Well, no. One day, I'm just thinking, like, aren't the Seahawks going to call us up and be like, hey,
I want my picks back.
you know this Percy Harvin guy that we got from you? We're voiding that deal. You can have him back, and we're taking... I don't know who we're taking. We're taking our draft picks back, or whatever you did, whatever. Like, you have him back. Like,
Nope, they cleared him with a physical. It's
Oh.
their fault now.
man, it's, I don't want to say it's funny.
It's kind of funny.
It's not funny, but
A little funny.
in a roundabout way, I hope it was the door that hit him on the ass on his way out of Winter Park that caused the hip injury. I really do.
Adrian Peterson says that he is open to being tested for HGH to prove that he's clean.
Yeah.
And for no reason, he says just go ahead and do it.
Just test me. Just test me. I'm clean.
As a matter of fact, he said that he wants everyone to get tested so he can level the playing field.
I agree, actually.
No harm in that.
Yeah.
But speaking of Adrian, Coach Leslie Frazier says that he won't play much in preseason.
Good.
He says, not like we aren't sure how he's going to respond.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not quite. How long's he been with the team? 7 years now. We're
Not sure he needs the work.
Yeah, we're not quite sure how he's gonna respond. We better put him out there in preseason and just see what he does against third and fourth string players.
Right.
Wouldn't that wouldn't that be amazing to watch?
Oh no. No.
It would. I mean, it would be amazing to see Adrian running over guys that just aren't gonna make the squad.
Oh. What a way to go. Just getting toasted by Adrian Peterson. Or you might be that one guy that gets in the good lick and takes him down.
Yeah, ooh, don't say that. Don't jinx us, Adam. There are a couple fans over Twitter who were like, I'm bummed out that he's not playing in preseason. I'm like, dude, wait 4 weeks. He'll be playing in regular season. Let Toby Gerhart have the ball at least a couple of times. Like,
we got a lot of guys that we need to see what they've got. We got Bradley Randall, Gerodis Williams. We got lots of guys that we need to see what they can do.
Give it to Jerome Felton.
Sure.
I know it's preseason, but just give it to Felton every now and then.
Zach Line, he could use a carry every once in a while.
Maybe Christian Ballard. He's a big guy.
Why not?
You can give it to him. Remember when he caught that?
PJ Raji runs the ball in Green Bay, so why not?
Remember when he caught that ball on that? It was a punt return.
I do.
Last season, that was the highlight of the game for me. Just a big man that shouldn't have a football that's got it, and he ran like 3 yards and went out of bounds. It was amazing.
Now, my last quick hit has generated quite a bit of buzz on our Facebook page. Former Vikings quarterback Donovan McNabb will have his jersey number retired by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Congratulations, Donovan McNabb, you lazy piece of shit.
No, I know as Vikings fans, we're bitter. We saw him at the end when he was playing like crap, throwing balls in the ground, and then he goes to be an analyst. He just starts talking immense piles of crap about the team.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we're a little bit bitter. And yeah, McNabb did have some really good seasons with the Eagles, but
He did.
I am still not 100% sure that he did enough to earn that jersey being retired.
I don't know why they're retiring his jersey. I mean, whatever. I want to read this. Someone said, I'm reading my Twitter account right here. This comes from John, because he responded about the McNabb thing. He said, some perspective. He was taken in the same draft as Dante Culpepper. Whose career in its entirety would you rather have? Donovan McNabb or Dante Culpepper?
Ooh.
I'm taking Dante. I don't like Donovan. I don't like Donovan at all. I never did when he was playing for Philly, and I know he was a better quarterback in his prime than what Dante was.
He was a donkey in Washington.
Well, yeah, but
Stupid McNabb.
I'm still taking Dante over top of McNabb. Hell, I'd take Dante today over top of McNabb. When was that? 2010 that McNabb was on the team?
I don't even want to think about it. I think I blocked out all that.
Yeah, that was 2010, and he won one game. It was against the Arizona Cardinals, I believe. Dante could have won us 2. I guarantee you, Dante could have won us 2. We would have been.
We have so many great we have so many great Donovan McNabb memories.
Yeah.
I mean, the fetal position for the safety and the first pass he threw as a Viking. It's just so nice to look back and remember all this nice, fun stuff.
There was that time that he rushed. He had that one rushing touchdown, and for a brief minute, everyone was like, we got the old McNabb back. And No, we didn't.
Well, that's all I have for this week. Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
Probably spend another 5 minutes on McNabb, but
I think we've ripped on the poor guy enough. I mean, the guy's getting his jersey number retired. Congratulations to him. It's a real honor for him and the organization
definitely.
And all that. And I know we joke about it, but seriously, congratulations to the guy.
No, I don't know how many Pro Bowls he went to. I know it was a good number. I know that he leads Philly in a lot of passing and rushing statistics for their quarterbacks. I'm trying to think, all those years Philly was right winning their division, going to the playoffs, losing in the first round, but hey, that happens from time to time. You got to give him credit for playing decent in Philly when when his time was there. The fact that he's getting his jersey number retired before Brett Favre boggles my mind, but that is a discussion for another podcast.
It's true.
Yep.
In closing, I'd like to say one more thing about the Eagles. I heard that they're going to be retiring one more, and that is going to be Donovan McNabb's mom, and it's going to be a can of chunky soup.
I hope so.
That'd be awesome.
That's what we should retire in Minnesota.
Just a can of chunky soup.
Just to mess with him. Wouldn't that be great? If I ran the Vikings, I would be like, get Leslie Frazier on the phone, get Rick Spielman down here. We're holding a press conference. We're retiring a can of soup today.
Oh, that'd be great. But, like I said, that's all we have for this week. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. By now, you guys should know where to go for that. And thank you, everyone. And remember to stay classy, Minnesota.
We bleed purple and our bones are gold. Hear the horns coming out of our dome, behold. We are Minnesota Vikings fans. We love when a player scores, we roar, ignite the stands. We bleed purple and our bones are gold. We're the kings of the north, our slogan skull. No Packer, no bear, no lion can beat us. We will punish anyone if they try to defeat us. He's the MVP, appreciated greatly. Running all day, 2K, that's AP. Make a defense cry or maybe beg. ACL stands for Adrian's crazy leg. He's the heart of the team, 28, holding up that Lombardi is a part of the dream. We will never give up, we find the faith to move past.